What if it's embarrassing somehow? I don't know what I mean. You certainly seem pleased by the possibility. There's actually something to get mad. Where's that poem? Doesn't this painting look like... never mind. I better get a professional opinion on this. Oh, Emma, I was wondering about this painting. What about it? Yeah, what about it? Take a closer look at it, both of you. Now, look at this one. This is the first painting he was working on. It's the same. I was hoping you wouldn't find that. You're right now. Drew Mission was copying this painting. Copying the painting? What for? Nope. Huh? Really? That's strange. Video one just in the washing room bed. Huh? No idea what that's supposed to be a reference to, but that might possibly be the strangest thing I've ever heard. No clues here. Nope. Never mind, never mind. Hopefully your destiny isn't. Emma, about this mug. There's a pale blue residue on the rim. Yes, well, it's just a rumor, but really. So the poison that killed the victim was on this. Yeah. About poison analysis. A truck routine. A deadly poison. Uh-oh, I know that's fucking noise. I'm getting excited. Let's do that. That's fine, really. We don't need to know the gory details. I think I get it. You just spray the stuff on something you want to test. Precisely. You can find even this. Uh-huh. Ah! What are you doing? I was just seeing if I got a reaction. How's this for a reaction? Never do that again. I'm not poisonous. How that does that? Let's just get down to checking for real poisons, shall we? And thanks to my dumbass, I've now been robbed out of the trophy floor. Yeah. Won't you look at that? Nice country. That was me! Never mind, I was the one who found it. Why would the inside of that frame have poison on it? Looks like you found the only other place that wasn't poisoned in any case. I thought so. Brush. He's off to scoop this up in papers. So, a reporter comes for an interview with a painter. His first interview ever, and that night he's killed? Seems strange to you? It does raise a few questions. I'd like to speak with this reporter if I could. Magician. Well, if it isn't Trucy, it leaves only one other person. So he's out interviewing that Valens Grammy. Looks like we're heading out to that Colosseum again sooner than I thought. Spark Brushel. So, a journalist was hearing the story. All eyes in the universe are up on my stage. All pens seek to commit as mysteries to paper. His name was Brushel? Brushel? Brushel. I think you remember him. You don't look too happy about it. Brushel, that cloying smell mean. And when he smiles, yes. Why am I starting talking like that? I remember that name calling me just now. Just now? Valens' vision is always towards tomorrow. Valens' feet step always forward. That is all. That's all very confusing. I am to perform a big magic show, yes. I wanted someone to cover it. Yet, he had ears only for that incident. That incident? In any case, I requested that the rapacious reporter remove himself. So a painter has died, what of it? Just but a footnote in the footlights compared to the magical grammar. Uncle Valen, do you know where the reporter went? I recommended he visit a place popular to penalize perpetrators. The detention center. He was a rude individual. Might I see that card? Sure. He will tear apart my respectability. I will tear apart him. Is he gonna fix the card? I'm not sure I qualify in big magic. What happened to big magic? Is it not more miraculous for it to stay ripped? He must have really not liked that journalist. Now, the time has come when I must return to make my prestidigitation preparations. By your leave, Miss Trucy. 3 days from now, make ready for a miracle. What do you think that journalist was after? Why did Valant react like that to the envelope? I think it's time to pay... October 7, Detention Center, Visitors Room. I think I hear what you're saying. Well, doing it for the money. End quote. No, not at all. Looks like someone's really mean it. Maybe that reporter? Hey there. How are you doing? Where might you be? Sorry, we didn't know someone was already here. I'm a Apollo Justice, attorney at law. Talk about nervous monkey. You're Justice? You know me? Do I know you? Of course I know you. Stares down witnesses on the stand until they spill beans. End quote. That's not true. What's he writing? Are you a reporter by any chance? Oh, you're Trucy. Eh? Am I famous? Oh yeah. Trucy Vane hates carrying a bag. Puts everything she owns in her panties. End quote. That's not true. Just out on your breeches there. I'll wrap up this interview in a jiffy. Interview? So, God, I think I know what's going on. God rooms is my life. What else could I possibly need? End quote. No, how many times do I have to tell you this? Look, I've got work to do. You deal with him. Did you come here to interview the guard? Oh wait, what a pickle. Accused wouldn't talk. I didn't interview someone I'd go plumb crazy. End quote. Trying to think of what would be the best voice for him. That's why it keeps changing. Huh? I should have guessed. Well, no matters. Name is Bushel. Spark Bushel. I'm not picky. Journalist just closed his eyes. Right. End quote. Was that nauseatingly strong mint smell every time he grins? Until you've been interviewed by me, you don't know what thrilling is. Wild romp through crossroads of mayhem, madness. End quote. I can see that. He's writing something again. Well, if he's a reporter, maybe he knows something. So, Mr. Bushel, you're a journalist? Ah, me? Look, let me state one thing for the record. Yes? I'm the interviewer. You understand, yeah? I'm the one asking the questions here. End quote. Okay? For instance, you think a movie director watches movies? Well, I think you probably do. Yeah. Exactly. I knew you'd understand. Huh? So, Night of the Murder. You are Julia? Me? Look, let me say one thing for the record. Yes? I may look calm and collected, but I'm busy. Real busy. Always on the road. Journalist always buys one-way tickets and never looks back. End quote. I can understand that philosophy, but you want to know the thing about one-way tickets? Once you use them, they're gone. All because you have to give them to the guy in the airport. True enough, but don't they give normal tickets to me? Exactly. See, it's the same thing. What is? So, you went to do a story in Dream Mission? And you've never had a story done about him before? That's right. Look, let me say one thing for the record. What? I'm sure you're going to want to know about my source. What turned me off to Drew? Why did he interview in the first place? Well, yes. Look, it's like... Oh, I've got it. Say there's this burger joint with Fabulous Kitchen. You think the burger guy is going to tell me where he got it? At the supermarket, maybe? Exactly. See? That's what I'm talking about. I think I may have actually understood that one. Well, there's nothing I can talk about, really. Walls have ears, eyes, especially glass walls with speakers. End quote. Right, guess we'll leave then. Ah, but since you're here, might as well tell you a tidbit of the news I saw. Just for the heck of it. Good, tell us, just for the heck of it. I remember it like it was yesterday. I had seen a movie on a trip and wandered in this burger place for meals and ketchup, when an article in a tabloid caught my attention. Famous oil painting stolen from an art dealer's gallery. End quote. I believe it was. An oil painting? Happens every day, right? But I thought I'd seen that painting somewhere before. A painting of a giant peach flowing down a river. Someone stole an oil painting of a giant peach? Journalists can smell scoop bad in burgers. End quote. Ah, right. Let me go on the record. Yes? I know what you're gonna say. Bushel, Ignis, vibrating column. End quote. I don't think so. Look, buddy, I write brilliant columns about one thing, and that's food. Try to understand. What could you possibly be writing? You didn't listen to a word I said. Actually, there was one thing I wanted to check with you. What's with that scary face you made? How much with that I know something, but I'm not telling you, but I'm not telling face you've got going, Emma. This paint came from behind that dresser. It was stolen, no? I was hoping you wouldn't figure that out. Do you think you could tell us a bit about this? I suppose it's what you think. Drew Mission was a forger. A forger? Talk. Forger. So, what exactly is a forger? Well, basically it's someone who makes forgeries. Fakes, in other words. You can? The big problem with forgeries is that people try to sell them. It's a crime. So, Drew Mission was a criminal, I'm afraid so. He received money to create elaborate forgeries. To supplement his work in illustration, I guess. I see. Actually, that's why I brought this here in the first place. What do you mean? Are you trying to determine if a painting is a forgery? The rough sketch underneath can be a valuable clue. Not in the case of forgery, not necessarily. You know what the finished product is going to look like after all. That's why I brought this. I'll use it to see what's under the painting. I get it now. I really needed to go to such lengths, seeing as how one of the paintings was only half finished anyway. True, and that would be interesting, and maybe valuable for our case. Maybe I should ask Emma to help us out. What the heck? I think I follow you. So in essence, it wouldn't matter what was underneath the finished painting. Not particularly, but something about the sketch itself is kind of odd. You're awfully silent all of a sudden. You think we could check out one of the other paintings? this one too. You think I could just look at lots of these? What the heck is all this? You sure your device isn't leaking some kind of strange thing? Juicy, look at these 3 sketches. Do you notice anything? These sketches are the 3 cases I worked on. What? The murder in the poker room at the Borscht Bowl Club. The dead man put in a noodle stand. And then the events that transpired during the Gavin's concert. What could it mean? That's what I want to know. Wait, is Drew your father? Give me a break. Does that seem even remotely possible to you? I've never even heard of any Drew Michel. You haven't even seen a picture of him. And there are my cases drawn on his canvas. Every single one of them. Couldn't have been a coincidence. So who was this Drew Michel? And what did he have to do with me? To be continued. Momentarily. Yes. Good morning. So you're Mia, right? She speaks? Not bad, not bad. Juicy, let's take it easy for starters. Thank you for taking my case. Huh? Okay, well that's a start, I guess. There she goes with nail polish again. Girls. The victim, Drew Mission, was a forger, and a stolen painting was found in his studio. A life of crime, really. And maybe one that led to his death. October 8th, 10 AM. District Court, Courtroom number 3. Well, we will now begin the trial of the mission. Is the judge okay? His voice is so raspy, he's looking around. The repercussions of today's trial will most likely be felt for a long time, and may indeed alter our legal system forever. Today is a test of the jurist system, and the first step toward a new order now. The jurors will function like a jury. It is hoped that their inclusion will help the courts to better reflect the people's will. Why aren't there any jurors in the courtroom? 3 closed circuit cameras to watch these courtroom at all times. The jurists have access to everything that transpires. Yeah. Jurists judge well and judge. Now see here, Prosecutor Gavin. I was going to say that. My apologies, Judge. Jurist, judge today's trial coolly, if you'll be so kind. I'm bound by law and law. You don't affect the trial of evidence, but by their feelings. We're about to find out just what effect they're going to have. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin, the details of the case, if you would. The victim is a painter Joe Mission. He was killed in his own studio. His coffee was poisoned. By whom, you ask? By none other than the defendant, Vera Mission.
Objection!
There wasn't any poison in the coffee. Achtung, someone has been doing their homework. Indeed, poison was not present in the coffee, but on the mug itself. The mug? Residue was found on the rim, I see. The autopsy report describes the manner of our victim's death. The court accepts this as evidence. According to this report, the victim's death was caused by atroquinine poison, a chemical compound that does not occur naturally. Lethal dosage is a mere 0.002 milligrams. A touch of atroquinine in the body is the touch of the Reaper's scythe. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin, you may present your witness. I have for you today a simple man, very simple case. A man who witnessed the murder in its entirety. A journalist, no doubt. The witness will state his name and occupation. Right. Well, for starters, my name is Spark Bushel. My job is a lone observer of the world. In other words, a freelance journalist, right? If you don't mind, I'd like to state something here for the record. Yes, Mr. Bushel, I dislike conclusions, specifically the aspect of jumping to conclusions. Preconceptions make parks and bulks of endless desert waste, end quote. My voice keeps changing for him. But you're a journalist. You said so yourself yesterday. Well, that's true, yes, but you must understand, I stand before you today as a man of a dream. I'm offering you as testimony in exchange for exclusive rights to the story. Screen returns Mr. Bushel, and that Mr. Bushel. Let's hear your testimony then, shall we? A simple case, eh, Gavin? For me, this jury's still out. I visited the studio that night to do the interview. The first outside Eternity Atelier. Journalistic issue made. End quote. His daughter brought us coffee right after we started. And you know what happened next? The star falls. End quote. No one else entered the room besides her the whole time. I'm giving him a gumshoe, esque voice. That does sound like a simple case. Unless you were the one who poisoned him. What are you saying, Judge? Need I remind you, the cameras are rolling today? I felt the need to be a bit dramatic. You didn't do it, did you? Me do a thing like that? Come on, that's like, just making the news, end quote. Or even contemporary witch hunt, end quote. I know, wild accusations rock courtroom, end quote. Rock indeed. Prosecutor Gavin sure looks like he's having fun. I'm so happy for him. Very well, Mr. Justice. Your cross-examination, please. The first outside Eternity Atelier. Can you say that for sure? For sure? Sure, I'm sure. Drew's studio in a big place, kiddo. I didn't know if someone else had come in. What if they had been hiding in there from before?
Objection!
Even if someone had been hiding in the studio? I know that. I know that. Sure makes it sound exciting, because that's his job. There's only one moment we need to focus on, really.
Objection!
Top tier dumbass moment!
Hold it!
9 at night? Isn't that a little late for an interview? The Red Pen and Drew Mission says come at 9. Believe you me, I go at 9. At first, and as it turns out, last night, such a prolific painter. Painter? What the fuck is that? Right, can you tell us what it was like when you arrived? You were the first reporter ever in Drew's studio? Posterity will look back on that night as a turning point in journalistic history. Basically insignificant step for all mankind, but a giant step for that Bushel guy. End quote. If no one on the outside ever had access to the studio, then it would serve to reason that the deed was done by an insider. By which you mean the surveyor did it. So, how did this epoch making the interview go? Would you mind being a little more specific? Oh, let me tell you, pal. I enjoy a couple. In fact, it all began when... Sorry, habits fell off. That's not what I meant! I believe I know what her forehead is showing. This coffee the victim was served. Did anyone other than the defendant touch it? Right, Nat! That's what I was going to say, really. Well, now if you got a good question to ask, you'd better straight up ask me. That's what I tell all the new recruits, several times if necessary. Right for a grade schooler. That's my motto. Which isn't to say I can only make grade schooler ugly. Who touched the coffee? Dunno. I was in the back looking at the studio's equipment when she served it. And what happened next? What's this about a star falling? No! You don't know? That's like a journalism code word. An important person passes away, star falls, get it? I don't think stars can fall. Does this matter? Oh boy, this is good stuff, good stuff. How about star breaks? Nah, like sponge. I know, star dies. Nah, likes imagination. Coach, you could go with Drew dies, straight to the point, I like it. I think we need to hear about something a little more substantial. The moment of death? About when Mr. Mission was passed away. Oh boy, what a scene that was. He buzzed his coffee mug down with trash, right? Yes, and then the cold finger of death touches his spine. Life's flame sputters and he fails. So cold was that touch, you could do naught but tremble and control it. Actually, life's flame is real. Life's river froze over? Yes, let's go. Could you describe that a little more simply? Well, as you can imagine, I was pretty surprised. You hit the floor, as they say. Artist seizure's final performance. End quote. Being epileptic, I don't take too kindly to that comparison. Atroquinian paralyzes the central nervous system. The body arches back like a bow.
That's quite enough of that. Some of us want to be able to sleep tonight.
Oh yeah? Well, I want details. Lots of juicy details. For that, you can listen to our last year's hit single, Atroquinian, My Love, by the Governors, available at all major music outlets. The point here is that the victim died of Atroquinian poison. Well, Mr. Justice, how did you find that testimony? Well, as an account of the moment of the victim's death, I'd say it's very important. Please add it to the testimony.
Hold it!
Hey, look, I'm a journalist. I've seen a lot of things. And I've had more than my fair share of experiences with so-called poisons. Man eats fishy fish, goes bye-bye. End quote. Food poisoning doesn't count. Should I get him to talk about something else? So, you drank the coffee that Vera served you too? Of course. When someone serves you coffee, you drink it. That's what my old boss always used to say. Never did what he meant by it though. Never did get what he meant by it though. But you're still alive, which is to say you didn't die. Of course not. No point falling before your start. End quote. That's not exactly what I was getting at. What were you getting at? You know that poison was on the rim, not in the coffee. Oh yes. There were 2 cups on the tray she bought. And one of the cups had Drew's signature painted on the side. No chance the guest would take that one by mistake, I guess. I hung a last moment here.
Hold it!
The Stars coffee. He who sees it wins, but he who says it wins bigger. End quote. Whatever the man sees dog eat dog and writes about it, well, yep. I guess can't say I saw him drink it. He had one so-called sip. No. Man puts lips to mouth, drinks. End quote. That poison's quite violent, I hear. My stomach did a so-called somersault, as soon as I dove down that coffee without so much as a second glance. Wait, maybe something's there, some kind of so-called trick. You don't want to venture a guess, for the record? Does this guy have a pause button? Well, Mr. Justice, did you find that testimony valuable?
Objection!
You know what I have a problem with? A particular property of the poison used, atroquinine.
Oh, Prosecutor Gavin was quite clear about the poison. A lethal dosage of 0.002 milligrams paralyzes the central nervous system. If you drank that, even you, Mr. Justice, will be reduced to a quivering pile.
Why are you using me as an example? Unfortunately, we weren't told everything. There was a vital omission in Prosecutor Gavin's information.
An omission?
Atroquinine is as virulent as he says, but death doesn't come upon ingestion, nor immediately. That's because atroquinine is slow-acting. According to one forensic scientist, if we suppose that the moment Mr. Misham sipped the coffee was when he sealed his fate, then he would still have had time left to enjoy his last cup of joe.
Order! Order! What's the meaning of this? What the defense says is correct. Why? That contradicts the entire testimony you just heard.
Well, Mr. Bushel, anything to say on the record?
Slow acting. Slow act. It was violent, alright. Even then, it had already begun digging its claws in his chest.
He's working on his scoop.
Objection!
It's Bushel, yeah. Herr Bushel, let's take a trip back down memory lane. Did the victim really die the instant he took a sip? Think it up. This is right.
You know what I think?
I think that.
And not some subliminal suggestion, end quote.
I admit it does cause a problem if he died when you said he died. I would be forced to say auf Wiedersehen to my sympathies. And you would be forced to say farewell to your article.
Come again?
You can't write a story based on conjecture, can you? And as the case drags on, other reporters will pick up the scent. And you'll be forced to kiss your exclusive scoop goodbye, yeah?
Scoop, scoop. Look, wait, just wait a second, just 1 second. We're waiting, out of it. I think I just recalled the so-called important detail. A revival recollection. The story survival, end quote.
Attorney utterly confused, end quote.
Actually, I did know something when I visited the studio. I heard a poison that takes a sweet time, see?
But not what I've been saying for the last few minutes.
Mr. Bushel, are you sure you noticed something that explains what happened? You bet I am. The antidote for a poisonous contradiction, end quote, you might say.
Or, I still have no idea what you're talking about, end quote, I might say. I figured it out, but only...
I figured it out, but only after an in-depth interview. See, thanks to my journalism skills, I know who poisoned that coffee. Order! Order! Order!
As far as I can tell, the witness is standing by his testimony. That Mr. Mission died an instant after he drowned.
Of course I'm standing by that testimony. My dream of exclusive rights to this story.
Ah, I suppose it was too much to hope for. What was? Of course he wouldn't choose a simple case, not him.
Him?
Phoenix Wright, who else? Achtung, Herr Bushel, report for us if you would. What is it that you noticed?
This court is a critical trial of the justice system. I'm afraid no room for doubt is permissible. You will testify to the court about what you noticed. When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Mission was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. Thought nothing of it at the time, of course. Now that I think about it, what if he was writing a suicide note? End quote. God. Suicide note. Yes, he had this look on his face. A man's face inscrutable as a quadratic equation. End quote.
Suicide? Poor Mr. Mission, but that means Vera's innocent. Would someone commit suicide in the middle of an interview? Oh.
Very well, you may begin your cross-examination.
Most likely not.
Okay.
Objection!
Nope, wrong there.
Top tier dumbass moment. So he put the letter away when he saw you.
You report against what? End quote. That's my secret.
I'm not sure I follow.
It's the night of the interview. I arrived 15 minutes ahead of schedule. The handle turns, the door opens, and I barge in.
Are you sure that's okay to do? I mean, it's not unlawful entry, really.
Mr. Mission sure seems to think so. You should have seen him. He crammed his letter into that yellow envelope as fast as he could. And no secret witness fault. And that was one. Those seem significant. Well, Mr. Justice?
I wonder. It does have the ring of something important. I had to test it.
Hey, why not? My account comes free of charge.
Objection!
Nope. Once again, contradiction in my brain.
Objection!
As it just happens, there was a single letter in the desk drawer at the scene. In a red envelope.
What?
Prosecutor Gavin. Yes. Was a yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime? Unfortunately not, but hell for it. It's easy to mistake the color of an envelope. I guess, but not this envelope. You see, it was postmarked already, 7 years ago.
Well, Mr. Bushel? I can explain that. Drew, right? You wanted to get that letter in an envelope, Connor. Get out of sight of my beady eyes, right? So you grabbed the nearest envelope and crammed away.
And what about the whole red and yellow envelope contradiction, chump?
Well, Mr. Justice, have you anything to say to the witness's claim?
That night, the victim put a letter he had been writing in a red envelope. It's impossible, because we looked in the drawer. That's impossible. Ah, I like your expression. So full of confidence. Simple, really. As it just happens, the defense team investigated the contents of this envelope, with the assistance of a forensic scientist. What? Know that this letter is addressed to Drew Mission.
Oh?
Why would he address a letter to himself? Let alone send a suicide note to himself.
I've been scooped! Order! 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 Mr. Brushel, can you explain this to the court? Oh, my, how could I have forgotten? I suppose this happens to the best of us. Reporter gets sold, forgets lost. End quote.
I don't think that excuse flies for a 36-year-old.
I'm still waiting for an explanation, Mr. Brushel. Well, that's the thing, see? After he puts his letter in the envelope, Mr. Mission sat there searching his desk drawer for something.
His desk drawer?
Yes, a stamp, a so-called postage stamp. End quote. A stamp? Whatever for? Well, it made his letter, what else? And then, why yes, I think I saw him put it in his letter box. Yes, it was a yellow envelope. And he put it in that box. Well, apparently this yellow letter has nothing to do with this case. Oh, how I wish it did. Just think if that was a suicide note. What a story. Starlight suicide note in front of a reporter. Form. Ahem, as I was saying, that has nothing to do with this case. That said...
Yes, Your Honor?
Makes me wonder about the contents of that red envelope. $100,000 is quite a good deal of money.
So this was from 7 years ago, yeah?
So, am I finished? Yeah, am I finished here? I was thinking of, going home to start writing.
I hate to say what should be pretty obvious to anyone, but when you catch the scent of a story, you make that rather unique face.
Come on! Attorney has active imagination. Little else. End quote. Even I noticed something and my eyes aren't what they used to be. I'm starting to understand what all this perceiving stuff is about.
Judge has active imagination. End quote.
Please continue your testimony. Tell us about the scent of a story. Hey, I'm not asking any questions here, usually. Actually, it took a bit of work to get thumbs up on the reporter leverages story, gets his interview. The story concerned a certain case from 7 years ago. That red envelope probably had something to do with it. Say what you will, but Drew's talent was without compare. So your friend to go to press for this story? That's how you got your interview? Blackmail? Well, yes. No. No. Wasn't exactly black. I'm not. Something wrong, Mr. Brushel? Look, this is my story. My tidbit. Journalism for his livelihood. End quote. I see. Well, you have me chatting away in here. What's going on out there? What if some Wally Wordsworth or Sally Scooper gets wind my story? They're going to be going to press. Well, I'm not going to waste. The court feels your pain, Mr. Brushel. Mr. Justice, let's pick up the pace.
Certain case 7 years ago. Wait, 7 years ago?
Objection!
Nope, I'm a dumbass. Once again, my brain cells are clearly faulty.
Objection!
When you think about the statement, oh, that is about as full of holes as my brain.
Hold it!
The victim, Drew Misham, had an aversion to applause. Boy, I guess not even my considerable charms have much fun. But I finally got my thumbs up, guys. Maybe you can elaborate on that a bit for us.
Objection! Hold it!
Exactly what sort of story was this? So a suggestion was enough to get an interview. Mr. Mission must have really wanted to keep it under wraps. I hate that.
Gotcha!
There we go. So how much, Mr. Bushel? Yeah, well, a man can't help with his glance, you know. More than that, when Mr. Misham's talent was mentioned, you suddenly began to sweat buckets. You're hiding something about his talent.
What? That's ridiculous.
Evidence time. Let's show him Mr. Misham's true talent. This happens, I have evidence showing the talent mentioned in the letter.
Take that!
This painting was found in Mr. Misham's studio. There are two problems with this painting. The first is it wasn't painted by Mr. Misham. The second is that there was another painting in the studio. It looked exactly like this one, except it was only half done. Then we have a letter discussing a payment of $100,000, which suggests a certain business operation. The business of making forgeries. That is all, Your Honor.
Everyone, please, everyone, can we keep this private? Please. This is my story, my scoop. Forgery? That's a serious crime. Drew Misham is known as an artist these days, but there are rumors he dabbled in another kind of art until a few years back. Another art meaning forgery? Drew Misham was talented, alright. Talented at making precise, detailed fakes. A fact that certain criminal elements were quick to discover.
Criminal elements? What? You can't seriously be talking about...
Exactly. Talking about forging evidence. Rumors started circulating 7 years ago. 7 years ago? So are we to understand that this letter, this payment for $100,000 was for... Exactly. Forged evidence has tidy profit. End quote. Order! 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 Why, it's like our victim was living a double life.
Ha! It's my chance. So the victim had ties to the criminal world, right? You could have had plenty of enemies we know nothing about.
Attention!
This is my first time hearing of this criminal. And the Artful Forger. Is that an Artful Dodge reference? We certainly found no criminal connections when we conducted our investigation.
Objection!
But how do you explain all this money? You have to admit there's a possibility of some illegal activity.
Objection!
But there was no proof tying this letter to our case. Our case was and remains simple from the beginning. Only the defendant could have poisoned that woman. And you, of course.
Hey, the only thing I poisoned is my pen when I'm writing reviews. Mr. Brushall, your testimony to this point has been quite unreliable. It doesn't speak well of your reporting acumen. What are you talking about? My journalism is rock solid. Journalism so solid you could stand an elephant on it. End quote. In any case, let's hear a summarized recap of your testimony. If we can ascertain the situation in that studio from the recap, the trial is over. Mr. Brushall, your testimony, please.
A nice testimony. Clear, succinct, and without room for doubt.
Ah, shucks. You really think so? I believe this clarifies the situation that night. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your final cross-examination.
Right, I still have one trump card left to play. And I won't let this trial end until I use it. That doesn't prove they're poisonous. How many times have we heard not one in our forehead? A poison reached its victim via that coffee. And from where did that coffee come, Not to beat a dead horse again and again, but perhaps you could fill us in? I'm on it. You need a horse beat? I'm your man.
Hold it!
Can you witness her pouring the coffee?
Of course I didn't witness it. When she came in with that tray, the coffee was already poured and now steaming.
Let us not forget the defendant has admitted to pouring the coffee herself. I heard her statement. I poured, I served, and I killed. What?
That last part was a little joke.
I don't think I'm gonna get anywhere with this coffee mug. Need to find another weak spot in this case.
It's a casse, because I've heard that's cafe.
Hold it!
You sure about that?
Well, to be really, really precise, I was busy gobbling mint candy soda.
One of those candies might have been poisoned.
Objection!
Yet at the time of the autopsy, no fresh fragrance of mint filled them. And no mint residue was found. It was a long show anyway. Don't tell me you're still trying to prove this. You think the victim ate, drank, or otherwise ingested something other than coffee?
Well, Mr. Justice, if you have some proof...
The possibility is there, can feel it, just maybe not prove it, not yet. And possibilities I'm gonna cut it. I can prove it. Proof is possible. But risk it.
Oh, excellent. Let's see your proof then. Please show us your evidence.
Take that!
Must I explain this over and over and over? We don't need possibilities here, therefore. We need proof. I know that. You should also know that every proof has its moment. Perhaps you're a bit early.
Hold it!
No one thing, you sure?
Yep, sure can be. Well, one exception. One exception? Journalist Spark Bushel does interview. News studio. And... Come on! It's a joke. Get it? Not funny, I know, but still.
Did something leave the studio that night? Why does that sound familiar? Where have I heard something like that before? Believe me, any comic relief I may provide is entirely unintentional.
Then let's see what you've got for us, Mr. Justice.
Take that!
Didn't think so. can't think of a single thing. But if he did leave, wouldn't Mr. Brush have noticed?
And I would. Nothing left, save myself, of course. Say that again and you'll be held in contempt of court.
Objection! Take that!
This is the only link between that studio and the outside world. A letterbox? What did Mr. Brush just tell us? When he entered the studio on the night of the murder, the victim had just finished writing a letter?
Yeah, I said that, and yeah, it was true.
Furthermore, you went on to tell us. Now you put the letter in a yellow envelope and put it into the letterbox. Ah, but that very same letterbox was empty. In other words, on that night, the yellow envelope disappeared. Ah, yes, intriguing. So an envelope has disappeared.
What we're trying to figure out here is how the poison got into Mr. Misham. Is it really important that this envelope the witness as he saw disappeared?
But if it did disappear, then something did leave the studio that night. That seems very important to me.
Very well then, the witness will add this to his testimony.
I still think this fails to change anything on her forehead. I won't be so sure. A letter disappeared from the crime scene that night. This is exactly the opening I've been looking for.
Objection!
Like I said, clearly revealed the contradiction of our two brain cells.
Hold it!
Nothing could be more serious than an envelope disappearing from that studio. And you're hiding that fact from us.
Yes, well, actually.
I don't argue the possibility that the letter disappeared from that studio. But her forehead isn't that much more serious question for us. Right, how Mr. Misham was poisoned, I know.
Hold it!
You say clearly as though it's obvious. But this claim that the defendant poisoned the victim is merely conjecture.
Yes, well, you see, in my business, it's all about making the most ridiculous things sound right. A bad habit, I know. Yes, well, actually, I guess this is more a case of ridiculous journalist sounds wrong, end quote. The court is forced to agree with you. Please refrain from wild conjecture.
If only I could believe that.
Hold it! Objection!
Of course, which means that envelope had a stamp on it.
A stamp? Ah!
As we all know, stamps come with dried glue on the back. In order to use the glue, you have to wet it by licking the stamp.
Objection!
Not worth talking to actually lick stamps in the thing.
Objection!
Even if you wanted to talk to him, you couldn't. He's dead after all.
Objection!
Okay, so he licked the stamp. But wait, how does that explain the atropine on the rim of the coffin?
Objection!
If he licked the back of a poisoned stamp, the poison would get onto his tongue, yes? What would then happen if he put the coffee mug to his mouth, Those traces on the mug weren't the killer's doing. Was the way round?
What?
The coffee mug didn't poison Mr. Misham. Mr. Misham poisoned the coffee mug himself.
Order, order, order! But that doesn't, does it?
Recall, if you would. Atroquinine is a slow-acting poison, yes? The poison entered his body when he put the stamp on that envelope. But his time wasn't up until the very moment he touched his lips to that cup of joe.
You have something to add, Mr. Bushel?
Uh-oh. His nose is picking up another scent. As I believe I mentioned earlier.
Well, that's the thing. See, after he put his letter in the envelope, Mr. Misham signed as such in his desk drawer. Yes, a stamp, a so-called postal stamp. Anyway.
Incidentally, we searched the desk drawer at the scene of the crime. There were no stamps, not a single one.
That does pose a problem. How will you prove that that stamp was coated with poison?
God damn it, I stumble over my words as much as Ken Williams did in the Judge bloopers. Actually, I'm glad no other stamps were found. Makes proving the stamp he used was poison possible. Good show, good show. You can't even prove there was a stamp at the scene in the first place.
Well, let's hear what the defense has to say anyway. Where's your evidence that proves the existence of this poisoned stamp?
Take that!
Well, that certainly is a cute little frame, and by little I mean really little.
Was on the victim's desk, Your Honor. Quite empty, as you can see for yourself. I noticed that too during my inspection. So what? Apparently you weren't as observant as you should have been. You see, when you saw this frame, it was missing something quite important.
Missing something?
Yes, a pale bluish stain on the inside of the frame. Atroquinine residue.
What? Why wasn't I told about this?
The frame is only 2 inches square. The face of the frame is even smaller. Maybe an inch wide at most.
You aren't saying...
Oh, but I am. Tell me, what fits in such a small frame? A commemorative stamp. A commemorative stamp, perhaps?
Stamp? Order! 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 The poison stamp was in this frame?
Impossible.
Prosecutor Gavin?
Why would he put something like that on his desk?
Don't tell me he had it there so I could commit suicide if the mood showed.
You know, can I say something?
I'd have thought, see? What, Mr. Bushel? And please stop jittering around like that. Victim was a forger, right? There's a lot of money in that line of work. Forger forges friends, makes enemies too. End quote.
So the poison stamp might have been a murder weapon aimed at him. Oh, Rich. That's Rich. Leave the ridiculous flights of fancy to the Gavin's song lyrics, please. Finally, something we agree on. The stamp was a murder weapon? Nonsense. Murder is a simple business. Who would go to such lengths? No one. Oh, I disagree. Come again? Recall, if you would, the victim's reclusive lifestyle. Drew Misham hid from the world. He avoided meetings. His only contact to the outside world was the mail.
The mail!
Now, if you wanted to kill someone you couldn't meet, but you knew read letters, a stamp would be the perfect weapon. Ridiculous. Where's your proof? I want proof. Show us evidence that this poisoned stamp was sent to him as a murder weapon. I might not have evidence, per se. Things are finally starting to come together. Where's that part? I think I know what happened. I don't believe it, but I can see it. I think I know how Mr. Mission was killed.
Well, fill us in, Mr. Justice.
A certain piece of evidence points to the truth, Your Honor. I can show you how someone with the intent to kill sent Mr. Mission the stamp of death.
Take that!
Isn't this the envelope? The one from 7 years ago?
Being about the text of the letter again? There were 2 pages in the envelope. This is page 1. And this is page 2. I want to draw your attention to one phrase in particular. Send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. The enclosed stamp, Your Honor. In other words, if
I have this straight. The stamp, poison, on the stamp, lick, gasp, end quote.
Now, what if he had done exactly as the letter asked? We'd sign the document, put it in the envelope, and put the stamp in it, right? Then he would put in the 15 minutes would have elapsed between affixing the stamp and mailing the letter. But the clock started ticking, and when the time came, he drew his last breath. And the murder weapon would be taken away from the scene.
Quite conveniently, thanks to the postal system.
Such a splendid imagination you have, Herr Forehead. Let me confirm one thing with you, if I might. So, this poisoned stamp was inside this envelope from 7 years ago, yeah? Is that what you would have us believe, really? Well, here's a little bit of a stretch, but there's a possibility. Yes, a very small possibility. How small, I wonder? A poison stamp in this envelope. A stamp that then became the murder weapon. How do you intend to prove this seeming coincidence? Well, 7 years ago, we don't even know who sent that letter. And your answer is silent. I see. Very well. I move to...
So nice to pick on Fräulein Clavier. Oh God, it's him.
Oh, Emma. Emma! Well, like my Christoph Karen impression, that sound like him. Don't quit your day job. Don't you have a crime scene to be looking after, Fräulein Detective? Someone had to come dig you out or out of the mess you're making of this case. Mess? You know, none of this would have happened if you just trusted in science a little more. You can find out how the stamp is in that envelope easy. Care to explain yourself, Fräulein Detective? Allow me all you lot want, but science is on my side. So I'm the residue, really. That's right, the poison detection spray.
Produce the red envelope at once. You can open it under the authority of the court. Well, would you look at that?
No mistaking it. There's that trocarine residue.
I don't believe it. A murder weapon from the past. Now, 7 years later, it bears its fangs at last.
Absolutely outrageous. Tell me why. Why didn't this murder take place 7 years ago? Well, there's one possibility. Maybe Mr. Mission figured it out.
Figured what out?
He realized that the person who sent that letter wanted him dead, so he sent his reply with a different stamp.
And put his decisive evidence in the frame? You're still here? Can I make a statement here on the record? I, Spark, Razor Toothbrush, claim the scoop is mine. Drew Mission killed in cold blood. By send of 7-year-old letter, end quote. No, maybe something more succinct. Star falls after 7 years late, end quote. Order, order, order! I see no room for further argument here, though I admit this is all coming off as quite a shock. Think that the murder weapon reached his mouth after 7 years. Stamp his ticket straight to afterlife, end quote.
Uh-oh, I think the witness is a bad influence on our judge.
I see no need for further debate on this matter. The sender of that letter 7 years ago could hardly have been a defendant.
Apollo, I think we just won.
Very well, this court finds defendant...
Is this the right future of our legal system?
Prosecutor Gavin?
A ticket to the afterlife from 7 years ago. Tickets for Gavin's shows are invalid after 2 weeks.
But it doesn't make sense any other way.
It boggles my mind that so many people haven't noticed. There's a fatal contradiction in her forehead's claims.
A contradiction?
A poison stamp was placed in this envelope 7 years ago, whereupon it was framed until now. If that's the case, then why would Drew Measham have done what he did?
Emma, explain that. You must realize it was poison.
Therein lies the rub. 7 years ago, the forger Drew Measham sensed a trap and put the stamp in a frame. I do not believe this, and this begs the question. Why, 7 years later, did he use that stamp on the night of the murder? Surely you don't mean to suggest that Mr. Measham simply forgot?
He put the murder weapon in a frame on his desk for 7 years and forgot? You expect us to believe he sprang the trap on himself? While I admit this is all quite shocking myself, it does seem highly unlikely that he would fall afoul of a trap that had been sitting on his desk for 7 years.
I don't think we're winning anymore. I'm glad to see we're all back in the real world. Welcome back to reality. We've been waiting for you.
Objection!
Okay, then how do you explain the poison stamp that was in this envelope? The poison stamp? Where exactly is this poison stamp again? Have you brought it to court for us? I see no proof that such a thing ever exists. What about the atroquinine residue, huh? Oh, I agree, there does seem to be atroquinine residue. But her forehead, it's clearly certainly no stamp. Yeah, but even if your precious poison stamp did exist, Drew Measham never would have used it. That is all.
I believe we've come to a conclusion, again.
Apollo, I can't believe it. The poison traces match up. It can't be coincidence.
I'd like to bring some closure to this issue sometime this year. Mr. Justice?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's review the facts and see where we stand. 7 years ago, Drew Measham received a red envelope.
Yes, but even if this envelope contained the poison stamp, and Drew Measham, knowing this, put it in a frame, he never would have used that stamp.
I'm afraid you're right, which means there is a fatal flaw in the defense's case.
I haven't been on the wrong track this whole time, I'm sure of it. The traces of atroquinine, the envelope, the frame, and Drew Measham's mysterious death. They're all connected somehow.
Well, Mr. Justice, do you have a conclusion for us?
The defense stands by his case, Your Honor.
We've seen that the logical outcome of the evidence makes no sense, which means that one of our clues must be a fake.
A fake clue. Fascinating, and if you find this fake, your wild fantasies will prove quite reasonable, yeah? The fake clue that's thrown us off the poison's trail is none other...
This red envelope is a fake?
Without a doubt, Your Honor.
Objection!
Wasn't it you who presented this evidence to the court? Oh. Hold on a second, Apollo. The poison in that envelope, the frame, and the coffee mug. Oh, right. Can hear it already. Looks like the fake was you, her forehead. This frame is the fake clue? Without a doubt.
Objection!
Again. The victim was a fake clue? I'm afraid I don't understand. I'll explain. You have an envelope, a frame, and a mug linked by poison. That all makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the victim himself. Congratulations, you've completely lost me. So the fake evidence is none other than the master of fake himself, the forger? It makes a good story, I'll give you that. The fake clue. Fakes. Forgeries. Ah! I don't know if I'm right, but I'm going with anyway. What if our forger is the fake? Come again? 7 years ago, our forger sniffed a trap and stepped aside. 7 years passed. Now the forger stumbles into that very same trap and dies. Why? That's what I want to know. Because the forger who was killed was a fake. Here we are again. The victim was a fake. One forger smelled the trap, one forger fell into the trap. That's two forgers, and one of them was a fake.
Order! Order! Order!
So you're telling us that Drew Mission, the victim, was a fake? Well, if he was a fake, who was the real forger? You'd better not be claiming for some kind of switcheroo.
I'm afraid you're going to have to back up your story. Mr. Justice, show us just who the real Drew Mission was.
Drew Mission wasn't the real forger. There's only one other person it could have been. Understood, Your Honor. Forger Drew Mission was himself a forgery. The real forger was Phoenix Wright.
Take that!
No. There can only be one explanation, really. The real identity of the forger, known as Drew Mission, is none other than his only daughter, Vera Mission.
Order! 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 Mr. Justice, this is going out on a limb, even for you.
I kind of agree. I mean, Vera. Let's consider it before you ride off entirely. If you look at the paintings in the studio, one fact becomes quite clear. Forgery had been taking place in that studio for quite some time. The forger wasn't caught in that trap 7 years ago. This can only mean that the one who was caught in the trap wasn't the forger.
Well, actually, that does make a certain
Only 2 sets of fingerprints were found in the Forger's studio. Drew Misham's and Vera Misham's. If we know that Drew Misham wasn't the Forger, it now leaves only one possibility by process of elimination. The Forger was Vera Misham. Well, fascinating.
Vera Misham? You've been paying attention to the trial so far?
Let's just ask on shall we? Who are you? Who is the Forger, Drew Misham? Was that an expression of emotion I saw on her face? She's staring holes in Prosecutor Gavin's face. I'm used to being stared at by foreigners. Believe me. Not they usually talk to me too. Tell us, were you the one who forged those works of art? Yes.
So the Forger, Drew Misham, was you?
Yes, it was me.
What? What?
The call was in an uproar. It wasn't coming down. I had to break for a 10-minute recess. Okay, so where exactly does this leave us? Well, the Drew Misham who was killed wasn't Drew Misham the Forger, basically. Huh? What? Who was he? Well, he was actually doing her nails. So you really made those forgeries? Yes, the father. No, it was wrong. Could you tell us how it happened? Holy shit, she reminds me so much of me. That's to say, the real me, not the version of me you see now. My father was a painter. I loved painting ever since I was a child. One day, father saw it and he saw that talent. Talent for making forgeries? How should I say it? It wasn't only paintings I made. Given the materials, it could make anything. Anything? Father was so proud and so happy. But in the end, I was making notes. Forgeries. Never had a good constitution nor personality. Not even let alone the world outside my door. Nope, because of me. Father is... So you're already creating your works back then? You started when you were 12? That was 7 years ago. Oh. So the one who figured out the stamp was poisoned, that was...
Mr. Justice, it's time. To the courtroom, please.
Right. Our time. Mr. Justice. Yes? He knew everything. Your late father? He was watching, gathering information all about the ranking criminal officers. But lately we're not too... Just... Yes, you do tricks, gags, and muse. I'm pretty of it. Well, they're not really gags. You one part I heard you haven't achieved believable things. Oh, please, Lewis. How am I supposed to know? Judging from the relative ages involved, I'd say it's highly unlikely. Things are really confusing enough with all these daddies running around. Anyway, his ancestor was Vianosuke Naruhodo. Courtroom number...
Court is now back in session.
Behavior seems pretty tense. She's practically chewing her fingernails clean up. Perhaps you could begin by telling us how it all worked? How did you set up this Drew mission, Fortunes? There's us there again. He's drilling more holes in his head.
Tracy, do you have eyes? You see that was more fear than...
What's hard?
Very well, miss. If you would, did you really make those detestable forgeries?
Perhaps you'd rather answer my question. Were you the one who painted that painting? The remarkably similar one? Ah, yes. I painted it, yes. Father praised me quite highly for it.
So, she was the one who made the forgeries.
Yet she did not wish to reveal the truth of the creation. So the victim was a stand-in, a decoy. To the world at large, he was the forger, not her. I've done a bad thing. I have, haven't I? Regardless, we need a little more information about, for instance, this. You have seen this before, yeah? Yes, it was in the desk drawer.
Very well, you may proceed with your testimony. Tell us everything you know about this envelope. There certainly was much of great interest in your testimony.
Not that the witness realizes it.
Very well, please begin the cross-examination.
Right, okay. I need more information about this forger. This Drew mission.
Hold it!
So these things you're making, you mean paintings identical to other paintings? The closer they were, the happier Father was. I was happy too.
Still, you're quite young now. When did you begin this work?
The first painting. Your Honor, she had no idea what she was doing was illegal.
Attention!
Easy there, Nico. You're not here to defend her for the crime of forgery.
True. Please, tell us more about this envelope. This envelope that may very well have killed your father.
Alright.
Hold it!
By other than a painting, you mean you'd only done paintings up to that point? Yes. But Father had a realization. He noticed my talent extended to making things other than paintings.
For instance?
For instance, a letter someone had written. A fingerprint left on a signature on a document, a seal up on it. None of this makes her sound very innocent at all. And $100,000. The $100,000 promised in this letter was the start. The beginning of a new industry for Drew Mission.
A new industry?
The creation of items to be used in criminal proceedings. Forging evidence. Uh-oh.
Hold it!
So you didn't know how the things you were making were being used? I think I understand. The Fraulein has lived in an unusually. Can you tell us what happened to the papers that were in this envelope? Father signed them and sent them back. Okay. Did he follow the instructions? Send in the enclosed envelope and the enclosed stamp?
This is rather important matter. Give your answer some thought.
Hold it!
Did I do something wrong? You didn't use that stamp because it was dangerous, correct? Deadly poison on the back. A trochrony.
Objection!
A moment, Herr Ford. You can't force an answer upon the witness. Now then, perhaps you would tell me, Fraulein Vera, why did you receive this stamp?
Is something wrong? Ah, you mean it was one of those commemorative stamps?
So you didn't know about the poison? I guess not. So the job failed by chance, by mistake. Thanks for these commemorative stamp.
Quite a close call.
Hold it!
Yes, we saw very few people now. They're enjoying pictures. This single job had tied them to. I think Mr. Mission wished to reduce their visibility to the world at large. We had to make something. So that was the real essence of the artist, Dream Mission. Yeah. He did the work and he supplied the face.
So, you really didn't know anything, did you? You had no idea how much danger you were in.
Apparently not. About this commemorative stamp, could you tell us more about it? This is something new. Apparently, we've got some cross-examination ahead of us. You'll be so kind as to continue your testimony, Fraulein.
True family.
Hold it!
Magicians? I love mysterious things. Even though you're confusing mysterious with freaky. Oh, it took me when I was very young. Fine, great, yeah, sure. No need to get all excited. That was quite sweet. Did she just say what I think she said? Magic truth? How have I heard that before? The red envelope came after she completed her first job. That makes it a letter from her client, whoever wanted a forgery made. Oh, that's where the ticket comes in.
Objection!
Those magicians you like. Was it this bunch? Apollo and our bunch.
I see. Still, I have to wonder. Why include a commemorative stamp like that in a business letter?
Good question.
But the whole murder plan was a failure because of it. Ironic, don't you think? Prosecutor Gavin. Prosecutor Gavin?
Grammary. What's with Gavin? Might I ask just one question of this witness? In your testimony just now, you stated this was your first work that was other than a painting. Please, tell me, what exactly did you make? Can I ask what? No! Answer the question! Now!
Prosecutor Gavin! You're usually not the one whose volume concerns me.
Yes, it is unbecoming of me, I apologize. But I must know. Please, Miss Bishop, tell more. Tell me. It was a book. A single page in a book. A book? Please be more specific. It was a handwritten note. Like a diary.
No, I don't know.
What's wrong with Prosecutor Gavin? He looks like he just saw a ghost. Miss Measham, this book. Was there a picture of a silk hat on the back cover? Yes or no? How did you know? Prosecutor Gavin, the defendant is answering all your questions. Stop badgering that.
He's told you nothing, has he? Your soiled, sullied mentor. Nothing.
Sullied who?
Phoenix Wright. Who else? He never told you about the trial 7 years ago? About how he came to lose his attorney's badge? It was a certain piece of evidence that decided his fate. A certain diary. On the back it bore the mark of his silk hat.
What? Phoenix Wright tossed out the profession by false evidence? And the forger who made that evidence? Is this girl standing right in front of me? Vera, you must tell us. The evidence you made was used in the trial 7 years ago. Who asked Drew Measham, you, to forge that evidence? For our sakes, who was it? We only met once. You met the client? Well, who was it? It was... What's going on with Vera? She's staring at Prosecutor Gavin's face again. Yes, what? Is there something about me? I remember clearly. I remember who gave me the book, the diary. Who was it? Vera! Neville.
Defendant Vera Measham. Condition unconscious. Examiner's diagnosis. Acute atrochin poisoning. This end is a recording of the trial for the murder of Drew Measham. Vera Measham was, during the trial, poisoned by an unknown assailant. The dosage was just under the lethal amount, sparing the defendant's life. He is currently in intensive care and is not to be disturbed for any reason. A very simple case at first glance, until it finally began to show its true colours. The long road to the truth takes us to the record of another trial. In some ways, that was the starting point of it. And that is where we must go. find the whole truth. Showdown time. I lost. It's only a game of poker. A game I've never played for a long time. And only lost twice. You was the first. The man I killed. Well, seems I found the partner I've been looking for all along. Over a game of cards? Why, yes, over a game of cards. That was how we first met. 7 years ago. Seven years earlier. Phoenix Wright's final trial. April 19th, 9:27 AM. Defendant lobby number 2. Phew, okay, it's been a long time since I felt like such a rookie. Got to try and relax. Ah, good morning, Mr. Enigma. I'm sorry to have sprung this on you so soon. I received the files from your previous attorney only yesterday. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure I'm prepared. I understand I'm asking the impossible. Yes, well, you haven't really told me what happened. All we did was play cards. And there was enough. Actually, it wasn't. Trust me. I'm so glad you came. Okay then. I'm fine as always. This old boy is here to help me out. That's young man to you. Good morning. How's a cute outfit, young. What the heck is she talking about? No quite died. A forgery. What's this? Memo for you or something such? Not from the looks of it. What is this? Looks like a page from someone's diary. Give it a read. Wow, how do you feel about being the child? We'll get through it, somehow. Incidentally, the prosecutor today is a new guy here. Ah, an easy win then, yes? They're calling him a true thoroughbred in the history of the prosecutor's office. Of course, there's one of those every year. They will now be able to pronounce me guilty there. So do your best, but do not worry. First time the defendant's ever given me a pep speech. I'll do what I can. I see you do not understand. You see, it would be impossible for him to declare a verdict. Impossible? Yes, it's never intrusive. My first look at the case was only yesterday, and the information I was given was a tad bit lacking. Still, I'll do what I can. For their sake. I believe the curtains will be lifting any time now. I'm in your capable hands, Miss Wright. My client is Shady Enigma, known to the world as Zach Gramarye, a wildly popular magician, star of True Crime. His mentor, Magnifique Gramarye, was a rare breed of magician. He single-handedly ushered in a golden age of stage magic until he was shot dead, and Zach Gramarye is the suspect.
Court is now in session for the trial of Shady Enigma.
In defense, The defense is ready, Your Honor. Is the prosecution ready?
I was just thinking, is this what all the fuss is about? Bit of a buzzkill.
Buzzkill? Is this some kind of crime?
One of the worst. It is a This is a trial, yeah? Where are the sweaty palms, the pounding hearts, and Governor's concert? Got them 10 times to fill this week's spot.
Who were you again?
Clavier Gavin. I came to get the parties. Legally, yeah?
Gavin? Defense attorney Christoph Gavins.
Figures my voice. Famous in this part.
Clavier Gavin. Lead singer for the mega hit band, the Gavin News. You're your league, rock boy.
I know what you're thinking. You're out of your league, rock boy.
True, my debut's 13 years hard time for love went platinum. But that's just a hobby to me compared to this, yeah? Talkative, aren't you? I like your affected Euro-rock accent. I'm just getting warmed up. Herr Attorney, right? Perhaps you would be so kind as to fill us in on the case?
Achtung, baby. Time to call on the opening act. What was his name again? Yes, Detective Gumshoe. Hit it. And you are?
Hey, you're the one who called me up here, sir. Name's Dick Gumshoe, a homicide detective down at the precinct.
Detective Gumshoe. Long time no see.
Hey, you!
Huh? Me?
Today's the day, pal. Today I win and you lose. I got confidence in my testimony, you see? What, you only lack confidence in your testimony?
Herr Detective, this is my stage. And the antics.
Huh?
All this hey you things. And I could care less about your history again.
Very well, Detective Gumshoe, if you would. Please tell us about the case at hand. Happened 6 days back in the room at the General Hospital. The facts are as simple as they come. Here's the crime scene. The victim was a patient asleep in a hospital bed. The killer comes in, puts a pistol in his forehead. Bam, lights out. Them's the facts. Not so long ago, the victim, Magnifique Granry, was a famous man. Yes, a Grimoire.
Fitting name.
He had the entire country under his magical spell, as it were.
Yes, the great magician. He retired years ago. Say the name Magnifique to one of my generation, and you'd be lucky to get a blank stare.
Yes, though I'm sure the youngsters today know his disciples even better. I dare say Troop Granry has made quite a name for themselves. Anyhow, the retired Magnifique's been in the hospital for the last year. What was it? A malignant tutor of some sort? Doing something to his liver, I think, yeah? Malignant tutor. Tumor! A malignant tumor, perhaps?
In other words, he had liver cancer. He had only 3 months left to live, in fact.
For granted, it's not there anymore, but... I had a brain tumor. Like I've said countless times, probably. I tend to go back on myself because of my fucking memory. I apologize. The facts do seem simple enough, but something's not right.
The victim was already climbing 3 months there into heaven. Why not wait for him to knock on heaven's door? Why shoot him?
I wouldn't put it quite so lyrically, but it's true. Why make the effort to commit murder when the victim was about to die? Incidentally, the victim had a serious case of diabetes. Diabetes?
In fact, he was about to shoot up revengefully. When he was shot with a pistol, the syringe was found at the crime scene. Chronic diabetes and cancer. As much as it pains me to say it, the victim was clearly at the end of his life.
I believe the question before us is clear then. Why did the killer have to shoot this dying man? What reason could he have had?
Very well, Detective. Perhaps you can enlighten us as to the circumstances of the shooting.
Yes, sir.
It's gone back to the original Ace Attorney's cross-examination theme.
Few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. The defendant did what was asked, shot the old man in the forehead. The bullet was fired from the pistol found in the seat, no doubt about it. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir.
Those are the facts. I have here the letter in question.
Very unusual indeed.
Seems fate's clock will make me wait a little longer, at least on your lesson. Forged. Holy shit, Nick's learned how his eyes work now.
Although, could such a thing as a letter really cause one to pull a trigger, I wonder?
I believe the answer to that question can be found at the end of the letter.
Ah, you cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why.
Detective Gumshoe, can you explain this to the court?
Unfortunately, even the defendant won't say a peep about that, sir.
One thing bothers me about this. Why didn't he just say 11? Why have him come at 11:05 without some specific reason? The devil is in the details, Herr Actor.
Well, was there some reason?
As it turns out, there was. Every night for a half hour, starting at 11, the victim, Magnifique Grammy, was given an IV.
An IV. There it is in the picture off to the side of the bed.
At 11, a doctor would come to set up the IV. 30 minutes later, he would come back for the empty bag. This happened every night without fail. So that was the only time they could meet without the chance of an untimely interruption. During his IV.
Very well, shall we begin? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you would.
What's this reason he could have refused, I wonder?
He could have at least mentioned it to me.
Oh yeah, Sam Eagle. I was gonna say, the voice sounds different. But then remembered they got Sam Eagle back to voice his lines in Apollo Justice too. Oh, I disagree. The victim was indeed shot in the forehead, just as he had commanded. Could be a setup. Let's not be in such a... Maybe we should let the witness talk.
Thanks, pal.
Fine, I can play it slow as well as I can play it fast. On with the testimony, Detective Gumshoe. And this letter was sent by the victim?
There it is, gotcha. You're all mine this time, pal.
Huh?
I had the handwriting checked out, of course. It's the victim's, no mistake.
Huh.
I see. Let's go on for the boys.
I didn't lose, I was just ascertaining the facts. So why am I so annoyed?
But a letter ordering you on death? Things aren't what they used to be, I guess.
I'm not sure this is exactly commonplace even now, Yon.
So anyway, I guess I'll keep going there while I'm ahead.
How can you be so sure?
Hey, you gotta learn to stop relying on people to do your thinking for you, pal. Learn to think for yourself. Get that noggin cracking.
Mate.
If you look, you'll see I have no assistant.
You fail to grasp the concept of questing, Detective.
First, we got this letter. It says shoot in the forehead, loud and clear.
I can see that, but I still wouldn't do it.
Well, maybe you need to grow yourself a backbone, pal.
You fail to grasp the concept of shooting people is bad, Detective.
We also found the defendant's pistol at the scene.
The traces of gunpowder. I'm not sure that they've been fired recently.
Well, Mr. Wright, as far as I can tell from looking at this photo, there seems to be no issue with the prosecution's claim.
The photo? Maybe there's something in there I can use. So they're saying the defendant shot the victim in the forehead. I think there's a hope. I have no clue. Looking at this photo, another possibility occurs to me.
Yes?
What does the letter tell us? That the defendant had a reason he couldn't refuse his teacher's wishes.
Bingo, pal. That's why the defendant popped him one in the forehead.
Oh, the defense disagrees. You see, the defendant had another choice.
Objection!
What, and you can prove that with this photo? I can prove he had a choice, yes.
The clown doll?
Take a closer look. See? It's been shot in the forehead, too.
Ah, there's a hole in his forehead.
Yes, and a hole in the prosecution's chin.
Objection!
Ha! And I suppose you have a reason as to why he'd shoot the clown doll. He didn't just shoot it. He shot the doll's forehead. His forehead? Ah! Let's read the orders once more, shall we? You will shoot one shot square in the forehead, which is exactly what he did. He shot the clown doll square in the forehead.
The defense has raised an intriguing possibility. That hole in the clown's forehead. It definitely looks like it was shot. Bailiff, send someone to investigate this matter.
Objection!
I admit I'm impressed, but I expected nothing more. Still, this doesn't mean he didn't shoot the victim.
Objection!
Perhaps he did have to shoot at forehead as ordered, but letter says nothing about whose forehead. This was the only way he had to follow his orders without taking a life.
The bullet hole in the clown doll's forehead does demand an explanation. Might very well be a clue, yet Prosecutor Gavin is right. Alone doesn't prove the defendant's innocence. We cannot say for sure the defendant didn't shoot the victim. So sorry, Mr. Wright. How sad it is to have seen a mighty fall. How sad it is to see Norris's overconfidence. He doesn't realize just how big this little hole is going to get. Raising! Detective Gumshoe, please take this newfound fact into account as you continue your testimony.
Farewell.